Hello everyone and welcome to another Wicked gameplay episode. Today we're in X-Plane. We're looking at the Flight Factor Boeing 777. This is the 200ER, I think it is. I never really did get up to speed with all the different variants of the different aircraft, but I'm pretty sure this is just the professional version. I haven't got any of the upgrades. So yeah, this is what we're going to be flying today. This route we're also taking, we'll have a look at that shortly, was suggested by a YouTube fan. Thank you for suggesting that. I really enjoy when you guys suggest routes to fly from and destinations to go to, etc. It just it makes it really simple for me to go and have a quick look at that, see if I can find a route to suit that, and put something together. And yeah, it's really good. And also helps me with geography. I never really did do all that great with geography in high school, a number of years ago now. Didn't really like it, but I tell you, flight simming is a great way to learn different parts of the world, where things are, where countries are, and I've already learnt a huge amount of stuff. Considering it's not something I spent a lot of time looking at previously. So yeah, that is awesome. Thanks for the route, which we're going to look at right now. Okay, so I've got the route here. This is I use simbrief.com, which usually finds a route, and I subscribe to the Navigraph Airac cycles, so I get updated cycles. I check the route in that cycle and make sure it's okay. Sometimes I need to make them up a little bit myself. This one here was one that was supplied, which was pretty good. So this is going from Stockholm to Copenhagen, which is not really a long flight, and not really a flight that you would do in a 777. Probably more like a an Airbus A320 or a 737, Boeing 737. So, but we're doing it in the 777 today. We're going to be departing off runway 1 left. We're going to be taking the DKR 4G SID, then the DKR onto the airway, and then onto SVD, and then the Star SVD 1E into Copenhagen Airport. So very, very cool. It's pretty straightforward. Now it does say 4 right, and I'm pretty sure for whatever reason when I tested this flight plan in the FMC that there was an issue with 4 right. Maybe it had to be a different runway, but anyway, we'll have a look at that when we set this up in the FMC. So this is the route we're going to be taking. You're going to find all this in the description below. We'll also have some scenery here, so we just have a quick look. This is the scenery for this airport. There wasn't anything modern really for this area. So it's actually pretty nice. It was converted by someone, and it's a little bit of an older airport, but still okay. You know, it's freeware, and thanks to those guys for contributing. That's pretty awesome. We're also going to be flying into the Copenhagen airport, which is also pretty nice. We've also got some extra traffic here. We've got a 747. Yeah, so thanks to I think it's Pedro. The link for the both of these airports is in the description below as well. Some of the scenery here is a little bit strange. It's kind of some areas it looks like it's just dug into the ground, and I've played around with the airport settings, but look, it works and it was free, so no complaining from me. Okay, so here we are inside the cockpit. I'm not going to be going through a checklist. I am going to start this kind of manually. I am most likely going to not follow the correct procedures, but we're going to follow a kind of a little flow. It's not going to be the correct flow because I pretty much don't read the manuals on these aircraft. I just kind of have a rough idea of how they work. And what I'm going to do is probably do a little bit of a series of the different Boeings, the Airbuses, and slowly build up knowledge on each of the different systems and the right way to start them and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to have a bit of fun today. It is a little bit of a 1 hour flight, and I'm hoping to try and keep this episode under the 1 hour mark. So let's get moving. This is the Pumper cockpit textures. You can see there's something weird kind of going on there, but that's all good. We can jump in the back. Maybe we'll do that in flight, and you can see Pumper's cockpit textures look quite good. Alright, so we have a menu option to get started up here. And we're going to just put a number of passengers. Let's say, I don't even know how many passengers this thing carries, 250. Let's say we got 2,000 kilos. We'll give ourselves APU time of 15 minutes, taxi time of 10 minutes, and takeoff fuel. What I do know, we're on total fuel now is 480. We want about 14,500. So let's do that, 14,000. So that takes us to 15,000 kilos. That is close enough for me. Some of the options here, we got doors. So you can open all the doors. There's only these 4. These other ones here don't work. So actually, we'll need to keep these open to load the plane. We're going to turn off custom failures. We're going to have real time. No. Turn off real time, hide the yokes, you can hide them. Rule limits, fine. Plug-in radio, don't know what that is. Don't know what that is, doesn't really matter to me. Chocks, passenger bus on the outside, fuel truck on the outside, which I already got. Some stairs, you can have 2 GPUs, 1 and 2, and we want this doors manual. I've already got this checked, but you want to use that before you open these doors, or you'll, if you have doors manual unchecked with the doors and open the doors, you deploy the safety slides, I think they're called, for an emergency evacuation. So we don't want to do that. Check doors manual, then open the doors. Okay, so we've got this set up. We're going to start loading the plane. Is this plane not loaded? What am I doing wrong? Load fuel. Maybe because I need power. Okay, so let's just close this. Okay, jump up the top here. So get my views right. Okay, so I'm back. I just reloaded this aircraft. I have 2 copies of this installed in X-Plane, as I sometimes try different plugins to see if something's wrong. And this one here has, I think, the pumper's texture. I believe it has something different for whatever reason. It didn't have the view set up, so now I have. So now I can actually jump around to some custom views that I set up for this aircraft, which weren't working before. Okay, let's get going. We want to jump up. We have some external power, I believe. It's all good. What I want to do though is turn the battery on, and what we're going to do is start up the APU. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I'm missing something. Usually this switches back when the APU started. We'll turn on that. Some generators. And turn on some APU bleed air. Gonna do that. It's fine. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is work my way down from top left all the way down and just turn everything on. Now I don't know if this is 100% right. Generators, backup generators. I don't know if we would turn these on yet, but I'm going to do it just for the sake of getting the show going. Once I've had a bit of time to study some of these systems and how everything works, we'll be doing some more flights with this aircraft and other Boeings and Airbus. And we'll go through a little bit more detail in how things are supposed to work. So let's do this. Not sure what that is. I might just leave that. I know I don't want to touch these drive discs. They disconnect something and you cannot get that going again. It requires maintenance. So look, maybe some of these switches would not be turned on in this order. But I'm just going to go through top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom. We'll go through all this. So we've got some lighting. Let's leave all this stuff. Actually, don't want that yet. Beacon lights, nav lights, logo, wings. That's all fine. I'll turn these on. Okay. One thing great about the 777 is it has a fairly simplified system, like panel, compared to say a 777. We also want to jump all the way up the top. I think I've got it mapped here. We'll turn these cargo temperatures to bulk aft low and bulk low. And that's really all I'm going to do up here. We're not going to be following any other real procedures or checklists. So everything, we have some fault lights on. That's pretty normal. And we'll fix those up once we get the engines up and running. So, all good. Okay, so we could just go electrical. We can see the electrics here on this bottom panel. It does have a checklist somewhere. Here we can click checklist, and we could actually follow the checklist. I don't know. I don't really like it here. It's a bit hard to see, and it's small. I really like what they did in the Airbus A350. I think that works a lot better. Okay, so we've got that up and running. Why don't we get our flight plan up and going? So let's have a little look at what we've got going here. I'm just going to clear this off. We're good. We're going to hit initial reference. We're going to do our reference airport, which is ESSA. Oops, helps if I do that. I think we click here with this little K and go ESSA. That gives us, this little K gives us keyboard access. Reference airport, so we can do that and do this. And I think we're already aligned, which is kind of cool. We want to go initial reference. We'll go route, and we'll say no ESSA, and we're going to go to EKCH. Oops. Help if I could type EKCH. So that's our main route here. We're not going to activate yet. We should be able to get next page, and we can start to add this in. So we want DKR. Let's do that now. It's direct. The airway N872 and then SVD. N872. And we got SVD. And that pretty much would give us our, it's going to fill in all the waypoints in between. So then we should be able to go to the routes page. Links. You can see here. We haven't activated any of this yet, but you can see we have some waypoints along the way. So we're going to depart, and today we're going to depart through our city. We want DK DK 4G. No active runway. Oops. So we're going to pick a runway first. We're going to get one left, and then this will tell us which ones we can pick. It must be 4C. DKR 4G. I have one left. That's really odd. So let's have a little look at where we are here. So we can go to 10 miles. One left. We're definitely going one left. DKR 4G. Well, we don't have a 4G, so we are going to 4C. So that looks like this. We'll take off and then do a left-hand turn and come back around. That is fine for me. We're not going to have a transition, so we'll look at the arrival. Go to the arrival route, and let's look at, we said 4 right. But I'm pretty sure if we select the SVD1E, so let's have a little look for that. SVD1E, here it is here. and it does an ILS 4 left is the only available option, so that is good enough for me. And we'll do the transition from KAS, and that should pretty much work out okay. So this is what it would look like. We'll flick this onto plan, and then we can step through our route here. So we're going to turn, and what we're going to find is we're going to have some route discontinuities. So to just get rid of these, you click on the waypoint and you move it up. Again, we'll do that again, and we'll overwrite that, and that'll give us this kind of loop at the destination airport. So we're basically going to come over, we're going to cross, we're going to do a right hand turn, and we're going to line up for the ILS approach and land with the auto land, because my manual landing is not good enough to put on public display yet, but I am working on that. And I like to do the auto lands because I like to really get a bit of a feel for what the autopilot's going to do, but I am going to start doing some manual landings and getting comfortable with that. Okay, so I think now that we've got that going, map, that's fine. I'm going to activate this route here, and we're going to execute that, and you'll see the magenta line has now appeared. So that is all good, but we still are not done. We want to go to the route data, transition level. That is not what I'm looking for. I'm still used to the Airbus. I'm not going to have an alternate. We don't want that. Legs. Let me just find what I'm looking for. Okay. This is what we want. So we're going to fly at 40,000 feet, or flight level 400. We're going to have a cost index of 35. That's my always standard one. We're going to have a reserve of 2.5. Again, I got this from SimBrief. Oh, insufficient fuel, and we hit this performance to create to get the zero fuel weight and the ground weight. Okay, so we don't have enough fuel. Let me actually have a little look at that. We haven't actually loaded the aircraft yet, so maybe we can do that now if it will let me. Let's open doors. I don't know if all of them need to be open. We're going to try and do that. Got the passenger bus out and everything. Let's jump outside and have a quick look at this. See the passenger buses here. Okay, let's try and see if it will let me load. Okay, there you go. Buses moving in, even though we're at a gate. Okay, so this got a little like loading thing, so we're just going to stick this down here. That'll do. We'll jump back in the cockpit, clear the caution. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's good enough. We've got that going. What else do we need to do? We can actually do a pushback, which we'll do as soon as this is loaded. It says plane's loaded, so let's fix that up now. Okay, so let's shut the doors. Remove the chocks, remove passenger bus. By the way, like the passenger bus just disappears. Fuel truck just disappears. Stairs are going to be gone, and yeah, something's not actually right with the GPU, but that's fine. And I'm going to switch off doors manually, and that is pretty much, we're done with this particular part of the plan there. So we've got the APU generator on. There we go. That should now give us power again. Yes. All good. Now, so now we have that. We can actually... It's a bit weird, this thing. We can get the pushback going. Close this. This guy's going to push us back. Then we'll actually start the engines. Now, I always thought you had to start the engines to move the aircraft back, but you don't. Don't think you do. Maybe I'm wrong. Brake is on. That won't help. Okay. Let's try it now. So I use my throttles now to maneuver back, but we've got no hydraulics. Oh, it doesn't matter. This actually didn't work for me the other day. Not sure why that was. Maybe I didn't have any pneumatic air. Okay, so we can see our rudder's actually working there. So we use our rudder pedals, and we could actually initiate the startup sequence. So we'll put this on auto start and hit start on the left engine. Although we'd probably do the right engine. I'm renowned for breaking the rules, at least in flight simulation. Okay, so we're good. We're here. We're starting up the left engine. Nothing actually looks like it's working yet, so let's have a look what's going on here. This is all on auto. We have fuel. We got nothing here. Look at the engines. Happy is running. Oh, I know what I've done. I haven't told this guy to go away. So that should help. Nothing will happen until he goes away. Okay, let's try that again. Should be good to go now. Okay, so we see the end gauge starting to go up. The EGT is going to start here. We're going to wait for this to just stabilize. I think it stops at around 6, the N1. So this is just spooling up the jet. Alright, this is just spooling up the jet engine. Getting it ready for adding fuel. Add fuel in. Let's have a little look. Spooling up, it looks very cool. Now I really haven't had a lot of time in this jet. I've done a couple of short flights with it just to just to learn how to fly it. Never really spent much time in Boeings. Okay, this looks good. Let's hit start on the second engine. Wait for the N1 to spool up. So again, what this is actually doing, at least the way I understand it, is it's spooling up the jet engine. Maybe it's using pneumatic air in this particular case from the bleed air from the other engine, or maybe has a mechanical kind of or electric kind of trying to think of the right word, something that spools up the jet engine and gets it up to this N1, creates some pressure in the jet engine, and then allows you to start the engine, to add fuel and allow it to start up under its own pressure. So we've kind of got all this flashing going on. It's kind of cool. What I didn't do here actually was legs. Let's get this back up. So let's go back to index and performance. We'll do this. This updates that. That's great. We should now have enough fuel. We're going to set, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but I usually do about 45, and we'll set the reduced thrust here, and flaps will be flaps. What does this thing have? I think it's flaps 5. Flaps 5. Request the rest of this. CG, center of gravity, and the trim. Trim should be 5.75. Oops. So that's about there. That's roughly there. And we'll set our V speeds. And we'll turn them on. That's all good. So 139's V2. And I think we're pretty much good to go. So once all that is done, we should be fine. So I'm just trying to see, is there anything I've missed? Performance, index, takeoff. Now somewhere there should be a transition altitude. I'm not going to have an alternate. I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm not sure what that's doing. I'm not really sure where it is, but somewhere in here there is a transition altitude that we can set. But look, it's not a big deal. It's just something that would be good to know. Maybe it's here. Transition altitude is 5,000. I don't know what the correct transition altitude is for this part of the world. In the US it is 18,000. That's the transition altitude when you'd switch from standard baro to the whatever baro that ATC would give you. I think we're good. I'm just going to leave this as it is. It's good enough for me and good enough for us to get going. So legs, just check this real quickly once again. It looks good. And this is going to be our first flight in the Boeing 777. So we are going to taxi now to runway 1 left. I'm going to set this now up to 40,000. And we'll set some taxi lights on. Strobes are off. I'm going to leave all the other lights up. Alright. Let's get going. Brakes are off. It still has a warning message here. Fuel in center is low. I think we'll just turn the center pumps off. We probably don't have enough fuel to do that. So I'm going to set these around 250. It's not actually correct. I'm going to do a little bit of reading up on these. And then talk about it on the channel. We'll do a little episode about what these are and how you would use them, where you get the information from. But it is about, at least to understand them, precision and non-precision approaches, and the decision height that you would use, which pretty much comes off the approach charts, at least to understand it. But it's not all that relevant for this particular episode. We're good. Okay, I'm going to turn on the autopilot. I'm going to turn on a flight director. We should really prep a couple of other things. Well, brakes. Oops. RTO, which stands for rejected takeoff. So if we were to abort the takeoff for some reason, maybe we have a problem with the takeoff and we're not at our, I think it's V2 speed. I think from V, if you haven't got to V1, V2's rotate, so V1 I believe is our final option to abort. If we abort any later than that, we are probably going to run out of runway. So if we reject the takeoff, if something was to happen, we blow an engine or something strange happens, we can, I believe the rejected takeoff applies the brakes and allows you to do an emergency stop. So we've got some lighting here. Play around with these lights. Bit of dome lighting. There's quite a few lights in here. Oh no, I had that on. It's good. Oh, I thought I'd turned these on before. I must have missed those. Alright. Going a bit too fast. So this is, I just want to reiterate for those people who are gonna say that I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right, and you are 100% correct. I'm not a Boeing pilot. I've never been trained to fly Boeing aircraft, let alone a 777. And yeah, I wouldn't want to get on a 777 with me flying, unless it's in a simulator. So, you know, let's just have some fun. Auto throttle's on. Okay, so I'm trying to get this lined up on the runway. Okay, we're all good to go. Okay, so I'm back. I had a problem with setting my VNav, and that was because I didn't correctly fill in everything here. But it is fine now. VNav and LNav is all working, and you can tell when it should work when all this information with your speeds and your flight levels are across each waypoint. If you don't see that, when you get to the runway, it is not going to activate. So we're all good. We're ready to go again. I've got my lights on. VNav and LNav are armed. Auto throttle is on. I have my flaps set, which I didn't have previously, and rejected takeoff is set. Speed brakes are armed. Trim is set. We're all good to go. I've also turned on my radios. I forgot to turn those on, and I've turned on my I've forgotten the name of the squawk code there. Yeah, crazy. Transponder. Okay, so we are ready to go. I think we're all good. I've set my altitude. We're going to spool up the engines. turn off the brake. And we're going to start making our way down the runway. Hit the toga button. Auto thrust is now armed. My throttle's back. And she's going to launch us down the runway. Oh, I don't think I've set my V. There's my V1. Alright, rotate. Keep it level. I'm going to follow the flight director. So we've got a positive rate. Just get my gear up. Start making this turn very gently. It's a good opportunity to start hand flying the aircraft. Start lifting the flaps as well. Now there is some markers here. I'm not super clued up on these yet. We're currently at flaps 1, so when we get to around 220 we can disable our, or lift our flaps up to their fully up position. See LNAV and VNAV are armed there. Some good views out the window. Blue skies. Start to straighten up here a little bit. I didn't set my barometric pressure. We're just going to assume it's correct. You know, like, I'm not doing any ATC stuff or anything like that, so, you know, normally would find out. But I don't like having that up in the little window. You can actually display that up in the screen, but I just think it looks ugly. I'm going to pull my flaps all the way up. We can we could just follow the flight director now if we wanted to, and that would take us all the way up. So we have a constraint here, you can see here at 250. Oops, we need to start to make our turn, so gently making our turn here. Probably should disarm the speed brakes. The APU is running, we can probably turn off that now. And what we might do is get this autopilot going so we can have a little look on the outside. So let's engage the autopilot. And we're good to go. We're looking good. So we're on our way. With the Scandinavian Airlines livery here. Now so far she hasn't made any noise, but as we get up into the air it is going to start to make some squawking sounds, so we'll see that. So that's all looking good. Since we're here, let's can't move that, so let's, there we go, there's that squawking sound I was telling you about. Let's just quickly jump at the back. You can have a little look in the back section here. So there is no passengers on board. We can have a little look at the engines from here though. First class. Some drinks. So here she is, what she looks like. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's some reading lights. It's a big engine. So there you go, that's what it looks like on this side. What are they eating up here? Okay, I don't know what they are. Business class. So there you go, that's what it looks like from back here. So it's going to be a while. We have crossed 10,000 feet, so we probably should turn off some of these lights. Turn the runway lights off, turn the taxi light off. We're going to leave the strobes on and leave all the other lights on. And we're cool. Everything is looking good here. And I'm a happy camper. So there we go. That's a very rough way of getting up and running in the Boeing 777 from Flight Factor. We'll make our way now to top of climb. So just roll out here. It's going to be a little while. It's going to be way over here. This top of climb here. You can see we've got some constraints here. If we look, we're going to be going all the way to 30,000, then to 40,000 at LPAX. All the way to LPAX. So we will be good to go for quite a while. We'll just be climbing at a fairly steady rate here at almost 3,000 feet per minute. We might just switch over to standard barrow, and I'm pretty happy. My co-pilot here is happy. Oh, what I should do is show you this. How do I turn this on? I haven't really used this yet. Power. So this actually allows you to set up some charts, which is kind of cool. You can zoom in. I haven't done any of that yet. Pretty cool. So that's all good. We've got some lighting. We've got some other lighting options. So we're all good. This is we're on our way. We're climbing. We're gonna make our way out, and we'll be back soon. Okay, so we're coming up to the top of descent now. You can see here the top of descent marker. I'll have a little look outside and we'll see one of the odd things that X-Plane will do when you're up quite high, and that is to blur all the scenery out in front, you know, not immediately in front of you. And this is getting fixed in the next patch for X-Plane 10. And something I know I'll be looking forward to is, particularly if you fly airliners and you spend a lot of time up here, that is kind of ugly. So I'll be looking forward to that patch. Okay, so as we prepare for our descent, let's just assume ATC has given us clearance. Now normally we wouldn't go down so drastically, but I am going to set our descent to my final approach fix, which is 1,600 feet. Oops. Okay, 1,600 feet. Great. So you can see here, we haven't started descending yet. When we get to the top of descent, it will automatically descend. Alternatively, I believe we can go to VNAV. One of these options here does have a I don't remember where it is. Like I said, I'm not that familiar with the Boeings. Somewhere in here I did see it. So we're just coming up to the top descent point. We should hear the auto throttle start to wind down. We see our marker on the right hand side appear on the navigation display, and it's starting to make our descent profile. So what we'll see is in the navigation display we have a marker here which is telling us where we are in relation to our ideal descent profile. So we're 130 feet above our desired path down. So we're going to start making that back. You'll see it's slowly climbing back. So this is just kind of giving a little bit of a range here. We're pretty good. So we've got a speed constraint coming up here. We can see that it's 250 here. So So everything's doing what we expect it to do. And it's going to be a slow descent all the way down. You can see we're not going to make it till we hit way over here. But we should be on track. We're basically on the right path. So what I'm going to do is continue the flight, and we'll pick it up just as we're coming in to the approach, and making just before that right hand turn and line up for the approach and land at our approach airport. Okay, so we're just coming into 10,000 feet, just about to start our, so we're on our descent. We've obviously started our descent, but we're just going to make our way down past the 10,000 feet now. So we'll turn on our landing lights. It'll let me. I'll turn our runway lights on, and I'm going to turn taxi light on. I think that's all we need. We're all good here. We're continuing down a slow descent. We're right on target by looking at our descent profile marker here. This is pretty much exactly where we need to be. We're just going to fly in here into the approach. So we've got a bit of cloud cover here. Visibility should be pretty good. Okay, so we're moving into our final approach fix, or we're just going to get around to this loop and then come into our final approach fix. We can probably just move this in a little bit. I'm going to start to slow the aircraft down. We'll get this down to 220. I'm still manually controlling my V profile, my vertical speed, because I don't really like what the autopilot's doing. So the best thing to do then is just take over. Let's start setting your own settings, providing that you stay within the limits of the approach. I think I am. I haven't really spent a lot of time on these particular charts. That's all the stuff that's going to be coming up for the other episodes. Oops, well, we don't want to keep continuing down at this rate, so let's just change our profile to 0. I want to probably get back up just a little bit. To about 3,000. Make this turn. Starting to see our localizer markers coming up. So I'm going to press localizer. Hold our current position in vertical altitude. Pretty much sitting on the glide slope here. First stage of flaps. We have localizer here on our PFD. Start to slow us down a little bit. Just waiting for us to turn. Kind of looks like we're turning a little bit late, but we do see the flight director is starting to turn us around. That's good. A slight pause there. The weather loads. So the Lycalos is being captured. I hit approach. It's going to try and capture the glide slope. Gone out over the water now, so we're just going to make our way back into the airport. Probably should be about 3,000 feet instead of 2,600. So we've come in a little bit shallow. That's mainly because I wasn't paying attention to my manual vertical speed. So there's our runway. Glide slopes coming in. Approach is armed. Start to set up brakes. Speed brake armed. Now with glide slope has been captured, and now we're actually following the glide slope. I've also set the altimeter. I did actually go look at what the altimeter was for this area. As you can see, I've set it here to 3033. Lights are all on. Landing gear down. Start to reduce our speed. This down further. Let's go. Got 4 flaps. Probably should be okay to get down to around 140. Sort of looks like we're high, but according to the PAPI lights, we're good. I really haven't had a lot of practice at these landings. I think I turn off the autopilot with this cancel button. I should have probably flared a bit earlier. The brakes are on. Wait for the engines to spool down a bit. Try and put the reversers on. Oh well, people are happy. Flaps up. Auto brakes off. Got a bit of oops. Let's have a little look at what this looked like. I really love this view. Bit of wing flex. Looks like we had a bit of a crosswind going. Off the center line. Always something to learn. What is the problem here? We've got to disable the autopilot. Fine. Okay. Wipers are on. Let's taxi to the gate. The wipers are on. These wipers are doing something really weird. So this is another freeware airport that we're coming into here. So I might just turn the flight directors off. Auto throttle off. Okay. Well, I've got this all wrong, I think, but what we're going to do is just park it right here. Right here, this will do. Apparently, this should be okay. I don't think we've got enough room here. Yep, stopped just in time. Brakes on. Just going to turn the engines off. Obviously we would actually, before doing that, start the APU. Get that going again. Just to give us some electrical power. It's all good. So there you go. That is the Flight Factor 777. I hope you enjoyed this flight. I know it was a little bit rushed. I apologise for that. Mainly because it's been really busy with work, and I really want to get this episode out. I'm going to be going away for a week, and I didn't want to leave it till another week. So we're going to be doing another episode in a week's time. And and I'm on holidays, so won't be doing anything while I'm away. Well, thanks for watching this episode. I really appreciate you supporting the channel. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave any comments and that in the comments down below. Tell me what you think, what you want to see, any particular routes that you want me to do, or aircraft you want to fly on the channel. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate it. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next episode.